Hi, my name is Erin, and I write fantasy fiction and poetry.
And I'm KR House, and I write science fiction and fantasy.
And today, we are going to be reading 1-star reviews of classic literature. And we're just going to react to the reviews, and then, I don't know, we might talk about whether we agree or disagree, what we think of the book.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Our first one is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. So, Kaylee, what did you find?
Okay, so our first 1-star review of Wuthering Heights is, I've tried it 3 times. I know people are obsessed with it. I hate everyone in the book, and I just can't care about a book where I actually hate the characters. And sure, I get the interpretation that as terrible as Heathcliff and Kathy are, it's their love that redeems them. And isn't that romantic? No.
Great.
So I kind of agree with this review, and I kind of don't.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that they're terrible people. I don't think the point is that their love redeems them. I think it's kind of just a tragedy all the way through.
Yeah.
Of terrible people ending up in terrible places.
Yeah, I think we're just kind of looking at the fact that, like, their love is messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do like Wuthering Heights, but I like Wuthering Heights. I think reading Wuthering Heights to me felt like watching reality TV. Where, like, everything's a train wreck and I don't like anyone, but I'm like, what's going to happen next? So that's how I feel about Wuthering Heights. Maybe that's reductive. But I don't know. We'll see. The next, we'll get to, the next 1-star review. I stopped at page 42. I couldn't stand the writing. Not only was it difficult to decipher, call me dumb if you must, but sentences, even paragraphs that could have been summed up with a few words were expounded upon pompously for pages. This is a shame, because I love dark stories, and that, along with what I had heard about this novel's strong character development and its generally strong reputation, made me think I'd love it. But I can't take any more of the prose, and I'm too bored with ADD and too distracted with lack of patience to continue. Just can't do it. Me, yuck.
Scathing.
Scathing. Yeah, I also think it's funny to complain about how long it is and then say the few words were expounded upon pompously for pages. Not that anything is, like, I just think it's funny.
Yeah.
I also think that is just kind of how a lot of old books are written. Not that it's not that you can't complain about it, but I think people had more time back then, longer attention spans. They wanted more words for their paragraphs, I think. Yeah.
That's true. You got to think about the economic benefit for some of these with the word count.
Yes, true. That too. Okay, I have one more review.
Yeah.
Okay. And yet another proof that I'm a social deviant. I must confess that I am a woman and I hate this book. There, I feel better now. It seems that everyone I know loves it. My sister and I argue about it often. I just don't like the characters. They're all mean, they're all selfish, their world is harsh and ugly, and I don't want to hang out with them or read about them. It's depressing. I've read it a few times trying to like it. So far it hasn't worked. I may try again in a few years, or I may just chuck it and read Calvin and Hobbes or The Far Side for a while. I mean, I don't disagree with these reviews that everyone in Wuthering Heights is a terrible person.
Yeah.
I just think that's a little bit of the point.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that the book is bad just because well, I don't know. I guess that depends.
Yeah, to me, it doesn't mean a book is bad, but I could see why it would for someone.
Yeah.
Though I am impressed that this person read it multiple times trying to like it. I'm like, that's dedication. I don't think I would do that with a book that I hated this much. It's kind of impressive.
So what would you rate Wuthering Heights?
What would I rate Wuthering Heights? Well, I think I did rate it on Goodreads back in the day. Let me see. I think I gave it 4 stars. I read it in high school, and I thought it was fun. And, like, I think the writing is good. I think the writing is good. And I was entertained while reading it. I personally am not interested in reading it again. And I also, the English major in me, rates books partially based off of how I think they are. Like, if the writer achieved what they wanted, not so much as how much I enjoyed it. So for my enjoyment, it might be 3 stars because it's not a reread book for me. But I think I would give it 4 stars because the writing is really good. And yeah, I do think part of the point of it is that everyone's awful. And they're horrible people.
Yeah.
So our next book is
Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Before I read these reviews, let me preface, the only 1-star reviews I found that were not super long, were also not very serious. And I think that says something, but I'll hold that for later. So the first one, Sarah says, an annoying scientist and an ugly tall man fight over who is more depressed. 1 star.
Oh, they're not wrong.
They're not wrong.
It's kind of accurate.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, ugly tall man feels like really reductionist.
He's literally the creature.
He is. Like, it's not his fault.
That's his whole point. That's the whole point. Wow.
But also, like, as a plot summary, sure.
Yeah.
As a reason to rate it 1 star, I'll hold my comments. Okay, this next one is spoiler alert, and then it lists the words countenance, endeavor, benevolent, wretch, ardor, anguish. I think that's all of them in a various order for a long paragraph, and then just says the end.
All right.
So I don't really know what that is supposed to mean.
I think those words are overused.
Yeah, I guess.
Kind of funny.
Or maybe that's their summary of the tone, which maybe. But yeah,
wretched.
I think those are probably like just words that were used a lot. You know, Mary Shelley wrote this for fun in a house with her friends. It's not her fault that she didn't have a thesaurus. Just like it's not the monster's fault.
That he's ugly. Yes.
That he's ugly. Okay. And the last one, I'm not going to read the whole review. It also is not exactly a 1-star review because it's a 0-star review. It says no stars. That's right. 0, zip, nada. It's been almost 30 years since I've detested a book this much. I didn't think anything could be worse than Kafka's The Metamorphosis, which isn't that funny because our next book
will be Kafka's Metamorphosis. But before we get into the Metamorphosis, what would you rate Frankenstein?
Unfortunately, I would rank Frankenstein a 5 because I love Frankenstein.
You love Frankenstein.
Yes, but I do. Okay, I will say I have read it 1 time and I was in high school. I do remember it being difficult to read, but I'm going to chalk that up to I was in high school. Mm-hmm. But so it is entirely possible that I'm forgetting some things that would make me not love it now. So I'll give it that. I'll say it's a soft 5-star review, but based on my recollection, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I also read it in high school, and I rated it 3 stars when I read it in high school because I didn't like the creature. He was like, his whole thing was society has been mean to me, and therefore I will become the monster they expect me to be. And I was like, or you could not. But also, high school me had much lower levels of empathy than adult me, and maybe judged the monster too harshly. I don't know. I'd have to reread it.
I mean, I still think the monster should have made different choices. Like, I think High School U was right in that regard.
I just had no pity. So
I was like, yes.
You were like, I am the creature.
No.
Oh, no. Sorry. That also feels like a very high school thing. Yeah. To be like, society.
No,
they don't understand me.
I'll accept all accusation of angst in high school. So yeah, that works. So our next one,
The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka.
Yeah.
This one says, technically, I read this book in German, and if I could give it 0 stars, I would. I guess they didn't figure out how to do it like that other person did.
I guess.
I would read the first sentence, in German, mind you, I read the first sentence, in German, mind you, around 3:30 in the morning earlier this semester, and was convinced I was losing my mind and that I couldn't be translating it right. It read, Gregor Samsa woke one morning to discover that he had somehow transformed into a giant cockroach. After typing the sentence into freetranslation.com and finding out I actually had read and translated correctly, I thought for sure the author had lost his mind. I'm sorry, but all this stuff about him being a symbol for Jesus and struggling for mankind is a bit over the top, I think. He's a cockroach, there's no explanation for it, and his family is only mildly freaked out at the fact that he suddenly turned into a giant bug. If the family tried to take him to the doctor or sell him to the circus, or perhaps even give him at all, the story might have kept my attention for more than the first few pages.
I've never heard anyone interpret that story as having anything to do with Jesus.
Right, yes, I never have either. I thought it was about, the thing that I read when I read it back in high school, I saw an article that was like, the story is, it's about how, like, he's only useful to his family when he can like work and bring in money, and as soon as he can't, he's like not, and he's like a roach.
Yeah, I think that's way more valid.
I don't think he's supposed to be Jesus.
No.
I also think it's funny that the person didn't know that he turned into a bug going into it and thought it was a translation error.
Yeah.
Okay, the next review is 1 star, and it says 1.5 stars. If I woke up as a large cockroach, I would also starve myself and die. And I 100% agree with this 1 star. I'm like, I can't imagine a word. This is terrible.
Yeah, for real.
And our last 1 star review is, it's giving, if I was a worm, would you still love me?
I'll give him that one. I think that is accurate.
Yes.
He's just like, please.
Okay. I do have a 4th one. Now, you don't just wake up to find yourself transformed into an inexplicable physical form. Well, at least for me, this doesn't happen. So I don't know what this was and why I read it. Just that it served me well in an audiobook and kept me from sleeping mid-work. Horribly weird. I am never reading it again.
Have they ever heard of fiction?
Oh yeah, this person's like, turning into a giant cockroach, unrealistic. And I love that for them, I guess. I think that's hilarious.
They've got a really strong grip on reality.
They do. Yeah. That they do. Yeah. So as far as, have you read The Metamorphosis?
I have.
Yeah, okay, what would you rate The Metamorphosis?
I struggle with it because it left me with such an awful feeling afterwards,
fair.
which is fair. I think that's the point. I'm leaning toward 3. I could be convinced to give it a 4, but my gut reaction is 3. I enjoyed it, but man, was it weird, and did it make me sad. It's just so bleak at the end. Which,
it really is.
Again, is the point. But yeah.
I rated The Metamorphosis 5 stars. I wanted to do it for this challenge or this video because I was like, I feel like it's such a divisive book.
Yeah.
Because it is so weird. And like the idea of like just waking up and being a cockroach is so terrible. Like the book did like feel like awful because you feel what it's like to be Gregor, and you're like, oh. Like, yes, like you would want to just not exist anymore. Right. And I don't know, it effectively made me feel the things. And I don't think I had read a story like it that was written at that time period. So I really enjoyed it. It was a 5-star. Again, also I read it in high school. And so the same girl who said, Frankenstein's creature, get over yourself, was like The Metamorphosis. Yes. So I was a little bit of an edgelord, maybe. I don't know.
Right. All right, our next one is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Another one that I feel not as divisive as The Metamorphosis.
I don't think so.
Some pretty strong opinions about this book. Oh. Okay, our first one. In my opinion, this is just a book about Victorian snobs talking about snobby things, and I don't like snobs. This is in quotes, I used to hate Mr. Darcy until I found out he has $10,000 a year, and now I'm madly in love with him. End quote. The unromantic linking of money and love are just too much for me. It just makes women of this time period seem pathetic. It's my goal to read all of the classics that appear on the greatest books of all time lists every year, so I'm glad I can cross this one off. It's probably the most boring book I've ever read.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I also feel like they kind of missed the point.
Yeah, I think that was maybe not which then again, this depends on how you view literature, but I still think that was a poor reading of the book, and also a misunderstanding of, like, it seems like you're making some assumptions about the character's motivations and saying that is the fact rather than what is presented.
Yes. Yeah. Because the reason that they end up falling for each other is not because he has 10,000 pounds.
Okay, the next one. What's that? Mr. Darcy doesn't want to dance at the dance? Welcome to almost any 8th grade dance. You will find most of the boys playing basketball in the gym, while the girls are waiting in the cafeteria for someone with whom to dance. I was rooting for Mr. Bingley to get away. Maybe he just isn't that into Jane. The scenes bounce from one scene to another so quickly that it makes my head spin, and I couldn't connect with any of the characters. Elizabeth spends most of the novel sitting around complaining about Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley while doing absolutely nothing to better her situation. At least Jay Gatsby did something about his love. Again, no consideration for the cultural context of the book.
No. Like, why aren't these women doing anything?
I don't know. Maybe because they couldn't.
I also, man, the thought of like Mr. Darcy being like, I'm gonna go play basketball is really funny.
Oh my
goodness. That
comparison. Yeah, he would not. He would not. And then our last one is hatred is too strong an emotion to waste on this literary twilight.
Amazing.
Also, how dare you?
Yeah, don't agree, but
do not agree.
Very funny.
But yeah. All right. So we might have made our opinions clear already, but what would you rate Pride and Prejudice?
Man, Pride and Prejudice is a 5-star for me.
Really?
I really like it. Yeah.
Okay. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, it's probably the first romance book I read. Mm-hmm. And I liked it. Because I guess I don't know, I guess it's enemies to lovers. A little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really love the way Jane Austen writes. I like her writing style.
Yeah. And
I liked that it wasn't just like insta-love, like you don't instantly fall in love. Mm-hmm. I don't think their relationship is toxic. Mm-hmm. Though there are definitely other toxic relationships in the book, and I think that's interesting that they explore that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that Elizabeth isn't a perfect person. And she realizes she has flaws as the story goes on. So I liked it a lot. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, I will say, as far as the person talking about it being boring or hard to read, I'm hoping that my high school English teacher never sees this. I was assigned to read this book in 8th grade and started it and had a very hard time reading it. I'll just leave it at that. And then later I read it and thought it was great. So I would give it a 5-star. I was so surprised by how funny it is. Like, I think the thing that makes it is Jane Austen's writing. It's not even that, like, you know, sweeping of a love story necessarily. Like, that's really not the point of the book. And I think a lot of people expect that going into it, and that's just not what it is. I mean, there are definitely some romantic elements about it, but they're way more wholesome than they are just, like, you know, strictly romantic. I think a lot of what makes the story interesting is the character development and the fact that they grow as people. Mm-hmm. So, 5-star.
Yeah, we agree on this one.
Yes. And like that one reviewer mentioned, well, at least Jay Gatsby does something about his love. I'm not going to comment on that, but that does lead into our 5th one.
Our 5th and final book is The Great Gatsby. Yeah, another divisive, divisive book.
Oh, yeah.
So our first 1-star review is waste of space, rich loser, chases women, has champagne cocktails, dies. Which is not an inaccurate description. No, it's not. Yeah. I like The Great Gatsby, and I'm like, he's not wrong.
He's not.
Or she, or whoever it is.
That's a very good brief summary.
Yes. Okay, this review is a little longer. Sigh. I don't know whether it was because I had high expectations for this book, but I was severely disappointed. It seems grossly overrated in my opinion. Nothing rather extraordinary took place. It didn't connect to me on any level, nor have any outstanding moral philosophical points either. It was just dull, flat, and unenjoyable, and the characters were not as likable as some may deem them. The plot did not fully intrigue me, and that is why I must rate it so. Its reason for being considered a classic is unfathomable to me. Lastly, this review was not intended to offend anyone or disrespect the author in any way, but merely state my opinion. However, I may find myself giving this book another chance in the future, as it seems a few people did not enjoy it earlier in life, but came to later on. Smiley face. Also, my literature teacher is mad at me for this, so please don't come at me. I have been reprimanded enough. And I love that little line at the end, because literature teachers do love The Great Gatsby.
They really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. That felt honest and sincere.
It did. I liked that 1-star review. It was like, look, this person was like, look, this is why I didn't like it. No hate, but it wasn't for me.
Yeah, I would highly rate that 1-star review
itself
as a work.
1-star review, 5 stars. Okay, the last 1-star review. Great Gatsby. What year was I in school when I read this book? No matter. You weren't worth it. You're a book whose worth lessens each time you are read, and at this point your existence is pointless. I bid you adieu, crappy fiction of yesteryear. Go commiserate with the Scarlet Letter, Ethan Frome, and Silas Marner. Leave the rest of us alone.
Dang.
Yeah. So there's some passion in that review.
Oh yeah. That's funny. Evidently, they're also leaving a review on those other books too.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, So you said that you thought some of those were a little valid. So what is your opinion of The Great Gatsby?
So I get why people don't like it. Because the characters are all super vapid and like shallow, and they're like really messed up people. But again, I'm like, I think it's kind of the point. And I really love, there's some passages that I just think are really beautiful. I think the writing is really good. And I also like that it's short. And I also, this is a spoiler for The Great Gatsby, but like, it's bound for I like the fact that he dies at the end. I'm like, I think it makes sense for the characters and for the message. I wouldn't say it's my favorite book of all time. I think I would give it 5 stars in that I think it achieves what Fitzgerald set out to achieve. For personal enjoyment, maybe a 4-star, because I did like it, but it's not like one of my. It's no metamorphosis for me.
Right. Yeah. I think it's difficult thinking about that, like what they set out to achieve, because we're reading them as classics, whereas when they were published, people were just reading them like we would read anything else.
Yes, true.
So
you really don't like it.
Well, I don't hate it. This is another one I was assigned to read in high school. Didn't quite make it to the end at that point, and then had to read it again later. And I was like, okay, that was better. So for that, I'm like, I have like a generally positive, I think, view about it, but I didn't love it. I would probably put it at a 4-star because I do think that he did capture a lot of what he wanted to in writing it. But I also was like, oh my gosh, these people are not good people.
Like, yeah, not like enjoyable.
It was still really, really difficult to like kind of get through them. And then I do think it's interesting though the way it's told. Like I think that was also something that had not been done too much at that point. So I'll eke it up there to a 4.5 because also it was like a framed tale. I don't know. I think
the fact that it's told from not from the main character's perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do agree with that first review where he was like, these are the things that happen. I'm like, yeah, pretty much.
But yeah. It also kind of feels like reality TV.
Yeah. All right, so those were some 1-star reviews of some classic novels, and then, our ratings. So if you would rate them differently, we would love to know about that. If you have some other classic novels that you would give a 1-star or that you feel like people have a generally negative opinion about that you disagree with, let us know about that too. All right, we'll see you next time.